In this tutorial, I'll be sharing all my secrets for how to make these super gorgeous framed hot glue seals. So first let's talk about the supplies you're going to need. You're going to need some frame stamps. So I have several different shapes and sizes of frame stamps. All of them are from my online shop, begoodslettering.com. But you could even use blank stamps and color the edge in gold, and you'd kind of get a similar look. You'll also need a low-temp glue gun, so I have it on high to start to just get it warmed up, and then I move it down to low. Crystal clear hot glue sticks, this is the brand that I like to use. And you're also going to need, of course, some flowers. So you want to look for dried and pressed flowers. You want them to be small because the frame stamps themselves are quite small, so we're looking for small flowers here. You're also going to need a cutting mat and an exacto knife, as well as this Krylon Gold Leafing Pen. So first I'm going to get some flowers ready. So if you have any of these leafy greens, they're super pretty to use. You just have to break off a small portion of them, and then you can use them in a seal. And I like to compare it next to the seal itself and just make sure it will fit in the open space. It works well with this oval, so I've poured my hot glue. You can see there's a little bit of bubbles, so I need to get it on low and let it cool down a little bit. And I'm going to press. On this one, again, if usually the flowers or the leaves are too big, so you just break off the portion that you need. And then I've got my stamp ready. All of these stamps have been sitting on an ice pack, so they're nice and cold. That's the trick for how you get them to not stick into the hot glue. Again, it's still a little bit too warm here. I can still use it, but I'll show you in a little bit the right consistency for the hot glue. There's a little bit too much bubbles here. So we're going to keep going, and I'm just going to make a few more, and you can use any type of flower or leaf. You just want to make sure that it can fit within your frame, and I set it in the center and then press. If you have any like this that are too long, you would just break them as much as you want showing in the frame seal. That's where you would break it. So there's an example of a little rose one. The consistency of the hot glue is starting to get a little bit better, a little bit less bubbles. You place your flower in, then press with the stamp. And then we're going to take these off and kind of see how they look. So they take about 30 seconds to 90 seconds to cool, but you can see there's how it's looking, and I can just pull it off. It should come off super easily if you've kept your stamps on an ice pack. So here's a few more. They're super cute, and they're so fun that you can see the florals through the hot glue. This one was a little bit high, but it's still going to be okay once I get the gold added. And here is the last one. This one had a little white flower, and it was basically perfectly centered, which is awesome. That doesn't happen every time, but they are ready to go. The next step is to cut out the frames. So I have here my cutting mat, I have an exacto knife, and I'm just going around the edge of the frame and cutting off all that excess hot glue. I will say the frames that are more basic shapes, like the ovals and the rectangles or squares, are easiest to cut, but the ones that are more detailed are a lot harder to cut, but they are like super pretty once you get the gold on. So you can be as detailed as you want with this cutting. You can see I'm going in and cutting out a little portion, a little triangle right there. I'm going to do the same below. So you can kind of be as detailed as you want or as not detailed as you want. But I have found the exacto knife seems to work best over using scissors, just because this one you can really get in all the fine details and get everything cut out. So this is the longest part of the process, and what I think people don't like doing. There's a finished one. It's all done, looking super cute and pretty. And then I just did a quick time lapse so you can kind of see me do some other ones, but like I said, those ovals are the easiest to do, or the ones that are just rectangles are the easiest because they're just quick. But now that they're all ready to go, you can see how cute they're looking. And this is before we've added the gold, so they don't really look like the frame seals yet, and you can't really tell all the beautiful detail that's going to come out, but they're looking super cute. I love to choose flowers that kind of go together. So this one, it's like a pink, white, and green palette. So this next step is adding the gold leafing pen. So we've got our Krylon Gold Leafing Pen. It's a paint pen, so you have to shake it up to get the ink moving around, and then you have to pump it to get the ink coming out. And I like to have quite a good flow when I'm doing these, just meaning that I want lots of ink running through the tip of the pen. So I'll pump it till I get quite a bit coming out, and then from there, I'll start adding the gold to the frame. So I'll hold in the middle and go around one side, and I'll do the top portion. And you have to kind of go over it a few times because of the detail of the frame stamps. And then I'll also go along the edge. And then I just rotate it and do the next side. And so you just have to really get in there with all the fine details, but that's why you want a good flow, because if you have some extra ink flowing, it'll really fill in those areas quickly. Finishing up that last side, and then from here, I just set it down to dry and don't touch it. So they need about 15 to 20 minutes to fully dry. So here's how it looks as it's going on some of the other frames. And you just want to be careful not to get in the center because you want that part to be clear. But you do want to get all the design, and you can really see the design start to pop out once you get the gold on. There are some frames that have portions of them that are just flat on the frame, like this one, so I just fill that whole area with gold. This is how they turned out. Super gorgeous, super fun. Let me know what questions you have about making these, and definitely follow along for more wax silk.